Before we jump right in, I want to tell you guys something super cool about glass, and I think it's going to help you understand why glass behaves the way it does. Some people will say that glass is a super cooled liquid, and while that's not technically true, it is an amorphous solid, which means it has a very liquid-like molecular structure. So glass is made by melting sand and other ingredients at a super high temperature and then cooled very, very quickly. So quickly that the molecules do not have time to arrange themselves in a set pattern or a crystalline structure. They're random. It's a random placement, that's what makes it like liquid. There's no grain, there's no fibers, so it doesn't cut the way most everything else cuts. So glass can't be cut. It has to be scored or scratched in a controlled way. And once you've done this properly, you can then encourage the glass to break along the score line that you've created. Some cuts are easier than other cuts. Some glasses are easier to work with than other glasses. Getting good at this, it takes time, it takes practice. Don't expect to be amazing at it right away. I'm going to show you the tools and the techniques I use when scoring and breaking, and we're going to start with straight cuts and gentle curves. Let's just go. Safety first, friends. Glasses are a must and gloves are optional. These are glass cutters, the pistol grip and the pencil grip. Only one is needed, but I'm going to demonstrate with both types. They have this little steel wheel, and that is what's used to scratch the surface. You'll need some glass cutter oil. This lubricates the wheel and creates a cleaner score. You can fill these cutters with oil, but sometimes it flows out a little too quickly and can be really messy. So I just like to soak some cotton balls in the bottom of a jar and dip my cutters in every few cuts. Let's go ahead and cut a straight line. So you're going to start about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. Hold the cutter like a pencil, but a little more vertically. Then you're going to push and press with steady, even pressure. If it sounds like this, you're probably doing it right. Go all the way to the end in one steady motion. Now we're ready to break, so let's use our running pliers. These have a straight edge on the top and a curved edge on the bottom, and there's a line at the top that you're going to want to line up with your score, and then you can give it a gentle squeeze. Let's work with a piece of textured glass. In most cases, the texture is only on one side, and then the other side is smooth. The smooth side is the side that you want to score. This time I'm using the pistol grip cutter. I personally get better visibility with this cutter, and it's a little easier on my hand, but try them both and see what works best for you. This is another score that calls for the running pliers. So let's make some curves, and I'm going to show you another vital breaking tool for these smaller pieces. Again, even pressure and go all the way to the edge, and whatever you do, never go back over a score line. After you've scored curvier lines, you're going to want to gently tap on the opposite side of the score line to open up that break a little bit. Finally, introducing one of my favorite tools, the Grozer pliers. This particular pair is awesome because it has that little arrow. That always needs to be facing up and pointing toward the score line. Get a nice grip and pull out and down at the same time. Let's do that again. We're going to score, and then we're going to take the back of our tool. Most every cutter has this little gold kind of knob thing on the back that's perfect for tapping. And then we're going to take our Grozer pliers, line it up, pull out and down at the same time. Let's talk about when to use which pliers. On small edges, you don't want to use the running pliers, and that's because both sides need to be in contact with the glass. As you can see here, that's not quite the case. So we need to grab our Grozers, line it up, get a grip, pull out and down. Now for this cut, there is enough space for both sides of the running pliers to be in full contact with the glass. So in this instance, you're good to go. Now I want to show you guys one more style of breaking, and that is the thumb break. You're gonna put your knuckles together and pull open like a book, pulling out and down at the same time. Let me show you what happens when you score with too much pressure. You hear how loud and crunchy that is? Well, when you break, you're gonna get some really jagged edges. Now watch what happens when you score with proper pressure. When you break, you get this nice smooth edge that doesn't require nearly as much grinding. It takes about 4 pounds of pressure to score glass properly. So when you're putting that much pressure on a tiny wheel on a slippery surface attempting to follow a line, it can feel a bit awkward and out of control at first. But eventually you'll develop a muscle memory that allows you to feel more confident and have more physical control. Here I've traced a piece of my pattern onto my glass with a silver Sharpie. And you may notice that when I'm scoring ever so slightly to the inside of the lines that I trace. Doing this allows for the pieces to fit together better because it accounts for the copper foil that I'm going to be applying to the edges. Now it's time to break. I'm using the running pliers on this first break, and then these other small breaks, I'm going to grab my grozing pliers and snap those off. You line up the arrow where it's facing the score line. Pull down and away. All right, friends, so that was just scratching the surface of what there is to know about cutting and breaking stained glass, but it's a good start. It's something you can practice with, and we are gonna get deeper and deeper into this process, so stick with me. If this video is helpful to you at all, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.